got a wild one for you this week.
Yes, we are back in the studio with none other than Six.
And we get to talking about what it's like touring across the North Americas on a boat to Mexico.
And how it feels to be part of the queer media diaspora.
And what it's like to have an Emmy but not make it your personality like I would.
And how to pull off linen looking like a rich bitch.
Come on. It was a slay of an episode. We hope you enjoy.
47?
47?
Oh. Mom!
When your first choice is a big old bus,
You turn around and boom, you end up with a sloppy second. Oh, diva. Our number is 213-536. Yeah. 91. Ooh. Todrick never does that, huh? 9180. Our email is sloppysecondspot@gmail.com. Now on with the show. Hi, you stop, you stupid little you nasty little you dirty little Welcome to Sloppy Seconds with Big Dipper and Meatball and Meatball, and that's Big Dipper.
Baby, we're back.
We're back in studio for you. You didn't notice, but it's been 2 months since we've been here.
I think they figured it out.
I don't know. Some people keep messaging me and they're like, "Are you still in New York?"
Oh.
Because we're releasing them so, you know, whatever,
Anyways,
who cares?
The magic of Hollywood, the magic of pre-production.
Put some sparkles in here.
We are finally back in the studio and we're doing some real-time recordings, baby. It's November.
Yeah, you bitches.
Okay. I'm excited to have our guest on the show.
I'm super excited for our guest. We've already had so many conversations that I'm like, we're
well, honey, she's got things to say. The synapses are firing. She's a fast talker.
The Emmy is here.
The Emmy is in the house.
Did you bring the Emmy?
Hold on. Let's give a proper introduction.
Oh, right.
Okay, and the last time we had this guest on was at our first
ever live show.
Wow.
I know. 3 years ago, out on the patio, on a parking lot, really, where you could scrub your toes.
Hi to COVID.
She's sickening. She's a makeup artist to the stars.
Honey.
She's lovely, talented, and has an Emmy or two. Just the one. Only the one. Yeah.
Make some noise for Six!
Bow, 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 bow.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you
We're
for
so excited to have
having
you.
me.
How are you doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm great. How are you?
You look rich.
Yeah, you look so wealthy.
I'm comfortable.
To pull off linen, I feel like to pull off
Daytime
linen
in makeup?
without wrinkles.
It's the real drag wives of Hollywood.
Yeah.
North Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
The valley.
Yeah.
but the rich part of the valley.
Yeah.
Like, aren't
Not
there nice,
Erica Jane.
yes. Aren't there nice houses in Encino?
Yes, there's gorgeous houses in
Don't people
Encino.
live out in Tarzana and go
Yes.
like, oh yeah, we'll just go downtown? I'm like, that's 90
San
minutes.
Luis Obispo.
Slow.
Ooh,
That's
slow.
loud.
That's pretty.
Slow.
That's where the money is.
Yeah. Scissor Sisters.
I wanted to tell you a story because my lips are very chapped.
You got to rub them on the concrete.
Get them out there on that concrete.
So I was at the dollar store yesterday, and you're like, what is that? Both of you.
Wealthy.
Okay, fine. But I went to the dollar store. I was someone stopped me actually when I walked in and said, hi, excuse me. And I turned around and he just held his phone up and he was listening to this podcast.
That's creepy.
So shout out to you. And then he said, do you live in the neighborhood? And I was like, of course I live in the neighborhood. Meatball says where I live on every episode. Highland Park. Okay.
And then did you meet up with him later?
No, but I said hello to him and then I went about shopping. My lips were so chapped. I was buying a bunch of like bullshit at the dollar store.
If your lips weren't trapped, would you have met up with him later?
No.
Because they would get that crack in them. And
The crack is the
And then you got to
worst.
deal with the bleed. And then you got to explain to everybody it's not a
it's
cold
not
sore.
herpes,
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
that I sucked a big.
Probably used to that, right?
Explaining the state of my lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
cold
always like,
sores,
Or the
right?
state of something.
Yes, exactly. So I'm shopping around.
Once a month he's got gonorrhea. Or
I
something.
never. I didn't grab a basket or a cart. I'm loading things into my arms, and I go past the like cosmetics area, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe there's at the dollar store. Yes, I'm like, oh, maybe there's chapstick here, and I look and I see something that's called lip butter, and by NYX. And I was like, oh, great. I'll just.
They have Nicks at the dollar
store?
Yeah.
Now, is it expired?
No, I don't know, but it was one of those things where like the tube you could definitely see was like there was much less in it.
So somebody had used it.
No, they like manufacture.
You know how they package things
for
and it's like
the
really
dollar
big,
store.
and
Yeah,
you can like
yeah.
take it apart, and what's inside is like
Yeah.
so little.
like you.
Yeah. I'm so tiny.
So tiny.
Okay, so I check out, I get the thing. I, of course, grab that, and I'm like, don't put that in the bag. And I go out into the car, and I start my car. I'm turning my radio on. I open the thing up, and I'm leaving the parking lot, and I start putting it all over my lips, and I'm going, oh, God, this feels so good. It's like moisturizing. It feels great. And I look into the rear view mirror, and my lips were so overdrawn with like magenta.
Yes! Oh my God!
I literally, like, I didn't clock that it was lipstick.
Magenta.
Magenta. That's perfect.
I truly thought it was just like lip balm that sort of had like a pinkish color to it.
Dipper.
And I was just like,
I have
I was
always
like,
known
I look like a clown.
You're into the clownery.
Oh, for sure. Well, he keeps on saying that he would make a beautiful woman, and he wants Willem or Alaska to paint him. But I think we need to get you to get in here and paint him.
Because she's tried, and I did not.
As long as we can do
Well,
it on
because
camera.
again, the eyebrows were not my doing. Someone else tried to cover, glue them down, and they did a very lumpy job.
I mean, it's like when I do Willem's face. I'm like, did you do? Oh, yep. Oh, yep.
Did you glue them down?
Yeah. Oh, she did.
What do you use to glue down eyebrows? Sorry to change the subject.
I mean, I use Elmer's just like everyone.
But what if you sweat through it? Like we were talking about, one of your former clients was a very sweaty person. Did you use Elmer's on them?
Well, they just shave their brows off.
Commitment.
No.
You've done it before.
I used to have no eyebrows, and I will say my makeup was way better when I didn't.
But you also wear bangs.
Well, that's because today.
Here at the pod,
we wear them because my eyebrows were a mess. So
I mean, I think it's great.
I love that you're
so
just
supportive.
so supportive of so many wrong decisions.
I mean, I love my friends, and I just think that you got to get
It's great
support
for
where it's due. You're amazing.
So you're back into town. You just got off tour with
I
Todrick.
just got back into town. I've been home for a little over a week.
Wow. How was the tour?
It was amazing. I've always wanted to tour my entire life since I was like a little kid. I just thought it was so cool to like live that rock and roll lifestyle. And I never had the opportunity to do it. And so I was like, yeah, let's go.
And this really did seem like a rock and roll tour because it was 2 months on a bus. You were traveling across America, North America.
Yeah, we did Vancouver to Toronto.
Wow.
In 6 weeks. 36 cities.
36 cities?
Yeah, well, if you include the cruise. We also went on a cruise afterwards. So.
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
We did Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and...
Cancun?
Wait, no, not Cancun. Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, and Mazatlan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But so you're just working the whole time. None of this feels like a vacation when you're there.
I didn't work for 4 days, but we had 2 of the days of the cruise were work days. So, and when I work, I'm all day setting hair, cleaning brushes, making.
So you're doing
everything.
hair and makeup on the tour.
I am, yeah.
God,
Yeah.
That's insane.
I love it.
And Todrick. I've seen Todrick's. I saw one of Todrick's shows years ago when I first moved to LA.
Yeah.
I think Willem was doing a pop-up in it. Harvey Guillen was doing a pop-up. Just a handful of people that I knew
And
casually.
that's when Todrick got a hold of those boots that Willem owned.
No, that was. If you want to go down that path, that was for a music video that he shot in Ukraine, and he took the boots over there, and they've since
reappeared.
There's been some closure about the boots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
the
you
boots
keep bringing up other people's business
I'm just asking. I just need to know where in the timeline the boots happen.
later.
Okay,
Later.
great.
Yeah.
But I saw this show and I was so impressed. I mean, like Todrick is a workaholic when it comes to.
A holic. Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I think the most important, especially with what's going on right now in today's climate.
Yeah.
I feel like since the pandemonium, I feel like we just have not slowed down as a human race. Like it's just like we just keep adding more to it. We don't even know what we're making anymore. We're just adding to it all the time. And I think as a queer person and a queer artist myself, the most important thing for me is to support other queer people and queer artists. And I've done that for the last 5-6 years of my life.
Yeah.
And working with somebody on Todrick's level is just, it was another it was just another rung in my chapter for being able to be proud of the people that I get to work with and see that kind of talent. Like that level of talent is just nonstop.
Yeah.
He wakes up at, sometimes 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He's writing, he's on the phone, he's consistently creating. He's on, business calls. He's his own manager. He's his own, producer. He creates all the stuff that he sings. He writes all the stuff that he sings. He's the artist. He's the dancer. He's the choreographer. I mean, he's everything.
Yeah.
And I just think that very rarely you come across somebody like that in your lifetime that is that talented. We had Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. And we have all these like huge celebrities that, of course, like the talent, I feel like he's the talent like Michael, where Michael did everything.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we've seen that in the world of queer artistry in quite a long time.
I was just listening to, it's so interesting. We were just talking about Gottmik and Violet's podcast earlier, and they were having a
I love those mean bitches.
Well, they were having a conversation because I think they're really open about like, oh, and those people hate us, or those people think we're bitches, or like whatever, but we're just being honest, that type of thing. But I was really struck by a conversation they were having about that they know a lot of artists who are like signed to record labels, who will only do the video that the record label pays.
Yeah.
And won't do anything else on their own.
Yeah.
And so they have no personal stake in it.
Yeah.
And, people like you invest in your art. Like you spend money.
Here it is.
You pay people. When you did the pageant, like all of that money came out of your own pocket.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When I make music videos, like I'm just like running up a credit card debt and paying it off later because I'm investing in myself.
Right.
And it is wild when there are these people who sort of like make it to a place in the industry and then just sit there and wait for the next opportunity.
Right.
And it's a very curious thing when you're like, well, are you driven to do that, or did you just get an opportunity that got you another opportunity that got you another opportunity?
Or
and
was
you're
that
just
your
sort of
idea?
Yeah.
Right. If you're just being sort of puppeteered by these other people,
Yeah.
It's cool when it's driven by the artist.
And when it's consistently something that the person just can't stop putting out.
I was going to say that for the last 25 years, I feel like Todrick has been, because he's definitely 45. But he's just been consistently putting out. I mean, I remember seeing his YouTube when 10 years ago when I first moved to LA, and I was like,
first thing I ever saw of his was that End of Time Beyonce flash mob in a Target.
Yes.
And then he went on to choreograph for Beyonce.
He's done everything, but also he doesn't seem like it gets to his head. And like, say what you will about him not paying people and like
there's
all that
plenty
stuff.
of controversy.
There's plenty of that stuff. He consistently is working and creating new stuff, and always like after this tour, I'm sure he's already working on something else, and it's like ready to go.
He's been working on something consistently before, during, and after the tour. He's consistently putting out work. Which is amazing, and he's putting out content, and even just to post something on social media. I'm not a regular poster of the socials.
Though when you do get on TikTok, you give them the old good
I give them
nails on the bicep.
Yes,
we know the nails on the bicep.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just you gotta have a little bit of movement. You know what I mean? It's like, Sasha is not gonna do a TikTok without a fan blowing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You gotta have something's gotta move. For me, when I put a fan on myself, there's an eyelash that's always like a little wonky, and I can't.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Well, there's a fan on you. There's no fan.
But what is it like to work with someone like that? To like just see them consistently going?
I think it's intimidating at first. It's the same kind of feeling that I had when I first started working with Willem or being around Willem. Willem is such a creative force, and not to plug people out there. I'm not plugging anybody. These are my actual feelings and my thoughts. And I get intimidated with people who are so consistently great at what they put out. And what I've learned by watching people, being in those close proximities with them, is that you just have to do the work and stay out of the results. And that's the most important thing for me. It's like you just got to do what's in your heart and keep putting it out there. You had mentioned something about the rumors that swirl around when you work with people in these proximities. And it's like, imagine being the one person that is writing, producing, directing, paying for, like you said, you went on a show, you got paid this certain amount, and you left home with nothing.
Right.
Imagine leaving home in the red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that
Right.
because you take a risk on yourself. I mean, it's not because somebody's pushing you to do it. It's because somebody's believes in their own self.
Right.
And sometimes you win and sometimes you fail. And I just think that, more attention needs to be given to those who take a risk on themselves, and a little bit more kindness and compassion, especially for queer people that are putting queer art out there, that are actually inspiring queer youth and other queer people to do the similar or same things. I think there just needs to be a little bit more compassion in the world, because I've been in such close proximity with Todrick for the last year and a half, and I don't need to speak on his, personal explorations in the past. That's not my business. I only know what I know of him for the past year and a half, and he has been impeccable. And for me to work in close proximity with somebody that talented is inspiring. And I've gained so much of experience and compassion in my heart, and I've been in such close proximity to greatness for the last year and a half that it's really just been an honor. I've also gotten to dance on stages all across the world.
They get you out there twerking.
I mean, but I don't dance. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm consistently
that's
one
not
of
what those videos look like.
But that's somebody that
Yes,
you're in close proximity with that says, I know that you don't think you can, but I believe you can.
Right.
Show me what you got. And you're like, but I don't know if this. So I'm dancing. I'm doing makeup. I'm doing hair. I'm dressing him backstage. And when you're in that world, you just want more.
Yeah.
And so I'm inspired and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I've gotten an opportunity to do something at 47 years old. I'm twerking on stage with, Todrick Hall. Like,
Not
give me a fucking
47,
break.
Mom.
I just turned 47.
Congratulations.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, 47.
Wow, that's incredible.
Look at how she's looking at you,
she's
so
like,
pretty.
And she's like, 47. She goes, 47 here.
Yeah.
What's going on over here?
What is that? Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
So I want to talk to you about your muscles in your body.
Yeah.
Because they're quite impressive.
Thanks.
Very impressive.
And I'm
oh, sorry.
I'm curious because obviously, like, you paint in this very, like, I mean, it's strong, but it is like a soft, beautiful, sort of feminine, rich lady paint.
Linen.
And that linen.
Yeah.
And
White
then you
linen.
have this, like, beefy, muscular, like, biker dad body. And when you're, like, fully done up and padded, like, you're masking some of it, but you're also showing off your arms a lot of the times. You're showing your strength. What is it about that mix that you find so, like, appealing that you want to show that to the world?
I think it's authenticity. You know what I mean? I think it's about just being yourself and consistently putting who you are from the inside out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you fart all the time. You put your insides out.
Yeah, I give it to the people, but not in this room right now. I didn't want to stink it up for you.
I think the most important thing for me is that I'm authentically who I am. When I look at myself in the mirror, I go, yeah, that works for me.
Right.
And to mask that or to put, when I first started doing drag in LA, I was like, oh, I need to look like everybody else. So I would watch Trixie's videos and I would put on 10 pairs of lashes. And then I would, wanted breasts. So I would put on breasts, and I just looked like a football player in breasts. I do. I'm just really broad already. And so I know that if I balance out my hips with my shoulders,
Right.
that's good for me. And when I turn to the side, if I'm flat chested, there are a lot of girls out there that are flat chested.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not flat chested.
So you got them pecs.
I have more than just the average, So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about owning my femininity and owning my masculinity and blending them together and putting them out there for the world to see.
Do you think, has anyone said anything about it? Like, put some tits on it, mama, or anything? Or are they afraid of you?
Tits on it,
I mean,
mama.
I'd be surprised if anybody had the balls to tell me how to do drag.
The first, exactly. Well,
She has
absolutely.
that.
I remember the first time I think I saw you perform live. It was at Fubar, R.I.P. And you brought in a motorcycle.
I did right on
what
a
a
You
God.
rode a motorcycle into the bar, and I was like, ah! And then you were in that like slingshot type thing, and I was like, just all the muscles and then the big long nails. I was like, who is this? I'm obsessed.
It was my Ducati. I absolutely love that motorcycle. If you really don't believe in like a higher power, get on a motorcycle and drive through LA. You will find something.
She rides a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And you probably have a really great connection with your higher self.
Oh, yeah, baby. I like to hit that thing going 60 down a 20 street.
Yeah, you're higher self.
It's the most amazing,
It feels
experience
great.
ever. I can't do it now. But
Well, no, now you're worth too much.
well, I mean, I also value my life way more than I did back then.
And I'm ready to go at any minute.
Do you want to be
Take me
buried like this?
now!
No, definitely not in drag, but I would like to have like 4 meatball impersonators at my funeral. You know what I mean?
A merch table.
Well, something's got to pay for the funeral.
Yeah.
Well, you are like confronting it a little more. Like you've mentioned this on the pod, but you've had to go to therapy once or twice in drag.
Yes.
Because it like butt up against the gig.
Because of scheduling. So my therapist will just turn on the screen and be like, huh. Now, does anyone ever clock you when you're at the gym working out? Are they like, are you 6?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. The funny thing about queer media is that you will find queer people wherever it is you go. We are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And anywhere that I go, there's always somebody that comes up to me. And, I used to get it back when I was single. I used to be on Grindr and people would be like, girl, someone's using your profile pics and I'd be like, it's me.
That's me.
You know what I mean? Oh, well, you're in, you're in Louisiana. Yeah, I am in Louisiana.
That's what's happening.
Here I am working.
I got on a plane.
I'm
Imagine
here.
that. Yeah.
We're here.
We're here, Diva. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything more to add to that. I think it's funny, I think I don't know. I'm honored to be part of this queer lifestyle that we get to curate.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 years ago, I was not a part of it. And, I hate to keep, beating a dead horse, but, 6 years ago, I was on Skid Row.
Yep.
And now I'm not. And it's because of my queer people and my queer community and being able to be a queer artist and consistently being able to work with people that are putting queer content out and using other queer artists to put their queer content out. It's like unfortunate when you see queer media being presented to the world and then we start just dissecting it before it even gets off the ground. Mm-hmm. We want to be out there.
What do you think that is? Because it happens across the board. It's like we, as a community, are our own bitchiest and fiercest critics.
Yeah.
But all we talk about is like more representation and more stories need to be told.
Yeah.
And then the minute the story gets told, everyone's like, they're doing it wrong. Yeah. We hate it.
Is it because we want it to be the best possible version, and so if it doesn't meet our individual expectation, like what is it?
Well, I mean, I think that in order to get to the top of the stairs or to the next level in the house, you've got to start on step 1,
right?
And you can't go just directly to the second level or directly to the third level unless you're in an elevator. And unfortunately, queer people don't get to ride in the elevator. Mm-hmm. We have had to take the steps, right? And so in order to get the kind of media that you want out there on the airwaves, it's got to start on step 1 and go all the way up until you get the second floor. We don't even get to the second floor because we've already disseminated it before it even got a chance to get off the ground. And it's unfortunate because people want to see themselves represented in queer media.
Right.
But we got to start somewhere,
Right.
There are a lot of other, queer medias out there that didn't just start off by representing every person in queer media. That took them years before they started doing that.
We've, the interesting thing working on Race Chaser with Alaska and Willem is like we're watching old episodes of Drag Race, so we're watching these people, like we're watching season 9 right now, so watching Sasha Velour within the parameters of Drag Race, or watching Shea Coulee, the first time she then went on to do like multiple other seasons. Like they have evolved so much in the 10 years since that show has been on television. And you think like you see some of what people are presenting on that show and you're like, they would never do that now.
Right.
And not only has culture shifted, but they've grown up, they've changed, they've, experienced so many things. They've, grown as artists. And so, you do have to just take a baby step. Even looking back at you bring up my early stuff all the time.
Deep in the forest. Now, but this brings up something that I was talking to someone else about. Pose, when it was out initially, like the first season of it, everyone was just dragging those girls for being terrible actors or the stories being bad. And it's like, hello, these are a bunch of trans women on television for the first time playing themselves and like being these incredible characters. Can we just accept that and be happy for that? And then they will grow and get better because they didn't get the same chances to go to acting school and learn to act. Like they had to do whatever it took to survive.
Right.
And now they're on TV. Can you just be happy for them?
Right. I mean, and I think that there's a short and a long answer to that. And the short answer is it's unfortunate that that's the way that we look at our own people sometimes. We're like, she's not good enough. You know what I mean? Get rid of her. You know, it's this TikTok mentality where if you don't have what we want in the first 13 seconds of you watching something, it's not good enough, and I'm just going to swipe. You know, it's the apps, you know, it's, you know, the swiping left or the swiping right. I don't know which one it is, but you don't look like I want you to look. So you're out of here. You know, it's this dismantling of humanity right before our eyes. We want it to be represented so well, but we don't want to watch it evolve. It's just everything is so hyper focused on what it is right this minute instead of what it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think part of why I love being a queer artist, supporting other queer artists, is that I also see what it could be, and I'm willing to take a risk and lend my credibility or lend my artistic abilities to a project, whether I think it's great or not.
Right.
I just want to be a part of seeing more queer media be out there.
And your
That's
contributions help make it better. I mean, I just came back from working on a theatrical production, which is something I haven't done in a long time. And you look around the room, and in a lot of digital media, there's like 3 people involved, right? There's like the person who is the engineer or the technician behind the camera. There's the person in front of the camera, and then there's like someone who edits it.
Yeah.
And on a theatrical production, we're talking about a team of 45 people who are all giving a little bit of input, nudging it this way, nudging it that way. And that sort of collective collaboration is what makes it become the special thing that it is.
And to add to that, the great thing about it that people don't realize is that when you're working on queer projects, most of the people that are producing, directing, filming, they're not queer people.
No.
So you've got to contend with people who don't understand our lifestyle, don't understand the nature of what it is we're doing or why we're doing it, who also have opinions.
Right.
And they want it to be palatable for the people that they want it to be palatable for. So it does get watered down. It does get diminished. Things do get overlooked. And there's so much more to it than just what you see.
Right.
And so, you know, I worked on a queer show last year with Todrick. It was the Real Friends of WeHo.
Yeah.
It was a great concept. It was a great idea, but
That show
before
got
it even
dragged
got
to
off
film
the
by
ground,
the internet.
you know,
Fuck.
it was just destroyed and dismantled.
Well,
And
how
it's
dare they take 30 minutes away from RuPaul?
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know about that part of it. I know that there's
She goes,
just
shut up, faggot.
no. I just like, you know, I think that there's a space for all of it.
Yeah.
Right? And whether it takes 15 minutes away from one and adds 15 minutes to another, it's all connected, and it's part of a chain link fence. And if we're dismantling the fence before it even get the posts in the ground, we're not going to have anything to really say is ours, right? So I just think there needs to be a little bit more compassion, a little bit more kindness when it comes to what you're seeing out there, and giving people the opportunity. I keep reverting back to this with my friends and the people that I surround myself with. I'm like, you have to give people the opportunity to have their human experience. We're supposed to make mistakes, right? How can you get better? If I didn't make all the mistakes that I've made in my life, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm done. If I was done, I wouldn't be here, right? So I think giving people the opportunity to make mistakes and say, sis, you made a mistake. And then giving them an opportunity to grow from that, and maybe chime in a little bit. Hey, do you need help?
Right.
Right? It's like, I can't imagine where we would be as a human race if we just dismantled and off with our heads every single person that upset us.
Right.
Right? Or that we didn't agree with. It's just, where are we and where do we want to go?
Nuance is a thing that I think has been lost a lot as of late. People are unwilling to have sort of gray area, tricky conversation about anything across the board.
A lot of people that are unwilling to grow or change, like when you tell them that they've made a mistake and they just double down on it, I feel like that kind of sets them back.
Yeah.
in their own way.
Battling your ego is like a tricky. I deal with that all the time. I never want to look dumb. I never want to feel like I make a mistake. And even if it's something so stupid, what?
Why are you here?
What do you mean?
Just kidding.
But how many times have you seen somebody do something that you very well have done in your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and you've been like, oh, they're getting dragged for it. And if that would have been me, I could very much well be in that same position too.
Right.
I don't think that there's any single one of us that is innocent to completion.
Yeah.
Right? But we fail. We would love to jump on the train when we're bringing people down. But when we sit back and we go, I learned a lot by watching that experience with you, and I'm grateful for my experience that I learned by watching you, and I hope you're okay, and I hope you've learned from it because it helped me grow.
Yeah.
Right? We're not giving people the opportunity to grow from their mistakes, have the opportunity to learn and change, and also say, I learned something.
Yeah.
Thank you for being that example, because now I know that that's wrong. I mean,
This makes me want to stop being a bully. This conversation.
Well, I was gonna
Yes,
sort of.
it does.
I'm
I'm really like over here.
I was gonna sort of round it all out to say, I think the beauty of like a queer experience is this sort of kaleidoscope of references, point of view, emotions, and thoughts all sort of mixed together. We are this like confetti of ideas.
and it's a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think the beauty, if you can do it well and you can toe the line, is to, in your heart of hearts, you're supporting and uplifting everything the community is doing. But if something is bullshit, you can say it's bullshit and they did it badly.
Yeah.
And you're not attacking them as a person. You're just saying like, girl, you didn't really think that idea all the way through. And why did you spend $8,000 to do that little music video that was stupid? One of your other songs could have been better. And we can have that sort of critical queer like dialogue, and we're not tearing the individual down, because it's fun to be catty and biting. Like, that's why there's
who
like
we are.
reading.
That's our
Right.
Yeah, that's
survival
part of
tactic.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
survival tactic.
What I love more than anything is yes and.
Sure, of course.
Okay? Give me a yes and. Tear it apart. Dissect it all you want. But then I need you to tell me what you could have done better.
Right.
To add to it, so that maybe we can all learn together from my experience or from this opportunity, instead of just tearing it down, lighting it on fire, and walking away.
No, there's always something to learn. There's always something to take away from everything.
So yes and it, right? It's like, yes, that is a point. You do have validity there.
Right.
Instead of just completely annihilating somebody's entire character and who they are as a person and their experiences and saying, no, I just disseminate the entire thing.
Yeah, it's
right?
the opposite of Violet
Chachki.
on
I mean,
Tutor Boot. No.
no. And
I don't
just
wanna see any more of that.
eradication.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
What is that?
That's a clock.